But tonight is If Factor Friday Live, episode 9 with your host, Rodney Hunter. And we have our special guest right here in front of us. But we'll pass this over to him and allow him to introduce himself very shortly. With that being said, I'm asking if you can, inform us of your name, let us know where you're from, where you grew up at, where you played some high school ball, college ball, and some of the pro leagues you played for as well.
Okay. I'm Myles White from Livonia, Michigan. Played at Livonia Stevenson. We went to the state championship. Unfortunately, we lost. From there, I went to Michigan State, then to a JUCO in Mississippi, Louisiana Tech, and then, had a 7-year professional career, 5 in the NFL, 2 in Canada. And so I've been blessed, man, just to, have a lot of opportunities to play a bunch of different places, meet a bunch of different people, you know what I mean? And it's been a blessing. It's been a journey for sure, though.
Most definitely, man. I know it was, man. I could tell it was. That is a beautiful blessing, man, to live out your dreams. With a lot of us wanting to become pro athletes, and again, you being one of the statistics to make it to that next level. You know what I'm saying, man? So big ups to you, as well. You have a twin brother, correct?
I do. Yep, I do.
Twin brother.
Yep.
And how's that, man? How's that having a twin brother? I have a twin sister as well. So
okay, so you kind of know the deal, like I'm glad that my parents didn't raise us like twins. They raised us like brothers. I have a younger brother who's a year and a half. He's about a year and a half younger than us too. We all played together, but we didn't get raised like we were twins. Like they didn't make us wear the same stuff or none of that other stuff. But so it's just it's cool. It's like having a best friend every day.
Yeah.
You know how it is. You talk every day. I talk to my younger brother every day too, so it's no different than that.
I feel it. Well, man, I'm glad your parents didn't raise y'all like twins, because my parents raised me and my sister like twins, man. So when we could, man, we would wear some things that, definitely made us look like twins and stuck out to people. So, yeah, man, it's a great experience, man, being a twin. So, man, what was your first love growing up, man? Were you always involved in football? Were you playing any other sports?
Yeah, so I've been doing sports my whole life, man. Any sport, you name it, I've done it. My sport that I first was, really, really hype about, that I felt like I was going to make it in, was basketball. I was, up north, basketball is like a big deal. So, that was kind of like something I gravitated to naturally. And then it was about all the way up to my sophomore year, where I remember to this day, I was in a gym at the rec center, and I was hooping, and they ended up bringing a football out. And everyone, like, I ran a couple routes, and everyone was like, man, you're way better at football than you are basketball. And that's when I kind of started, like, catching wind of, like, all right, well, maybe I am, you know what I mean? And starting to believe myself in that fashion, But that was my – go ahead.
When they were telling you that, man, were you kind of fighting it at first and like, nah, man, I know I can ball. I know I'm a baller, or I know I can do both? Did you feel like you were better at basketball, or was it, again, everyone else telling you like, hey, you really like that in football?
I always knew I was good at sports. I was a key player on every team I was on,
For
but
sure.
I don't think I understood where I stacked up amongst everybody. Because, you're just stuck in your little area, for the most part.
Yeah.
And then once I was in the rec center and did that, and then I started going to all these camps, that's when I kind of was like, oh, okay, like these are top name guys in the state that I'm, cooking or doing whatever I got to do and having success against them. So that's kind of what opened my eyes up to like, all right, well, now I know where I'm at in the food chain,
So if there was any other pro sport you would have had dreams of playing or wanted to live out, you would say that would be an NBA player?
I mean, that would be a dream, but I don't think it would have been a reality. I think just, height is real, bro. I'm only 6'1", so you got to be at least 6'4", or you got to be a serious hooper at 6'1". But the best at, or maybe even better, was track and field. I was a really good athlete. I was 9th in the nation through high school, man, and I just gravitated towards it.
I got you. You're kind of frozen right now on my screen. Do I look frozen to you?
Yeah, you look frozen. See if it's me. You
Oh,
good?
man, I don't know what's going on. Here go Instagram. There we go. We good now.
All right, we're good. We're back. We're back in business.
So yeah, man, it's great to know that you play a lot of sports, growing up, man. That probably played a huge role into the success of you making it to the league and things of that nature. In which I played a few sports as well. tapped into golf, basketball, definitely football, of course, and things of that nature there. And I think that's something that I would suggest to a lot of younger kids. Get into as many sports as you can. Test out your versatility and things of that nature there. And you never know, where you may fall, what you may fall in love with.
Absolutely. And it
Oh,
just helps. Playing a bunch of sports just helps you in any other sport, especially football. And this is something I say today, like, if you play basketball and you're a receiver, you're going to naturally just figure it out. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
How to work a release, how to run a route, how to create separation, because it just so much of the game translates, And so even at SMU, where we get guys who don't happen to play basketball in high school, it's a little bit more of a learning curve for them to learn how to release or run a route and understand how to get open,
I got you. I got you. Well, hey, so growing up, you said growing up in Michigan. I see that your father went off to Michigan State and ran track there as well, man. But what was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
household like? What was it like growing up in Michigan? Again, having a twin brother and a younger brother. Do you have any sisters in the family?
I don't, man. No girls in the family, just mom. But no, it was good, bro. Honestly, um, my family I was blessed to have such a good supportive system and family system around me, and my brothers as well. And we were just kind of the house in the neighborhood that everybody came over. You know what I mean? So it was always 10, 11 people over the house. You're always stepping over somebody at night. Someone sleeping on the floor, but we were just one of those households in the neighborhood that kids like to be at.
Cool, man. And I'm pretty sure you're still friends with most of those guys to this day.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, man, that's close, man. Growing up with those, you did a lot of things with. You know what I'm saying? And still having those guys around now. You know what I'm saying? That camaraderie there, that brotherhood y'all built, man, can't be broken. And I'm pretty sure, it's only going to grow even stronger.
Yeah.
And again, I think you may have played with, against one of my best friends, one of the twins. I'm not sure if it's Justin or Jordan, but I think y'all may have been at the Packers at the same time. Justin or
Okay.
Jordan on the play.
Yeah. The lineman, right? That's
Yeah,
my
yeah, I
guy.
think the lineman.
Yeah. I'll play with Jordan, and we
Yeah,
used to
man.
always run. For whatever reason, we used to always play Justin. I think, right, if I'm getting the names right,
Yeah.
but we'd always every year, once a year, I always play the other twin, and we'd tap in, and we had the same agent at the time, and so it was cool, man. They're cool people.
Okay. Cool, man. I'm gonna have to tap in with you, man, and see what that agent experience like was for you, man. With me aspiring to become an agent and things of that nature, man. I want to learn that game. I want to see what the experience been like for those guys who've been through that process.
Well, for me, man, the first one, I had two agents. It was the wrong deal, man. I took the saying, everything that glitters isn't gold, and that was that. Are you frozen? Am I
Hmm.
frozen?
Okay.
Am I
Oh,
frozen?
yeah, you are frozen, but I can't hear you. Yes, it's circling. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know if my service is
There
bad.
we
I
go.
haven't
There
paid
we
my
go.
phone.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah. So my first agent, he just wasn't. He was new to the game, and he just wanted to throw a lot of money out. And so we were in Houston, and I ended up having to
Mm.
fire him pretty early in the process. I think before my pro day, I fired him, and that was just a
Oh
disaster in
wow.
itself. But Ryan in contact with me and had his agent. He put me on him and was like, "Look, this is a great dude," and he was. His name was Mark Bloom and Derek Fox. They were working with like Steve Smith and a few other big name guys, but they just kind of navigated me throughout the whole process, and I trusted them. It was a great relationship because they were, number one, they were upfront and honest, and that was a
Yeah.
major thing. And then the second thing is they were polar opposites. So like one of them was like a bulldog, like I'm gonna get this, and this out the way right now, and the other
Right.
one was like, let's slow play it and let's just go about this politically correct. And it
Yeah.
worked. It was like a perfect mix of what we needed. And I was with them for 5 years, man. And I remember when we had to part ways, that was like a breakup. You know what I mean? Just because we were so close and such good communication back and forth, and it was just mutual parting of ways. But I still keep in touch with those guys to this day. I check in on their family, they check in on mine, and it was just such a great relationship.
That's love right there, man. That's love. Hey, Miles, man, when did you first dream of wanting to become a pro athlete? Yeah.
I think as a kid, everyone wants to be a pro athlete. You say it in your mind. I think when it became real,
Yeah.
you know, was when I was in when I was my first day at Michigan State. Well, actually, like my first year at Michigan State is when I kind of understood, like, oh, this is really right in front of me. I can go grab this, because it was
Mm-hmm.
just such an honor to me and a blessing to get to Michigan State. I didn't think like I said, I didn't really know where I stacked up in the food chain until these schools started
Yeah,
offering.
let's talk about that.
Yeah, and it was just like
I
I
was gonna
said.
say, yeah, let's talk about that, man. Tell me about your high school experience.
Yeah,
What was that like for you leading up into transitioning into going out to college?
yeah. So my 10th grade year, like I told you, as I was in the gym and I started understanding, like, all right, well, a lot of people are talking and saying I'm good, and then I got to my junior year and I switched positions. I went straight to receiver. I was a running back before that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was a running back. Like I said, we were going to these camps and we're going against some of the
Right.
top talent in the state, some of the top talent in the Midwest, and I'm just playing, but I'm routing people up and doing my thing and running and clocking the times that I need to hit in the 40. And so I got a lot of interest,
Yep.
and I started turning some heads. My first offer was Michigan State.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Thanks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So you don't have to dive deep into it, man. But could you lightly go over, what you experienced at Michigan State and possibly a reason as to why you were dismissed off the team and things of that nature? Yes, yes, I can hear you. Let's see here. Hey, y'all. I think I want to. There you go. Hello. You good now? Can you hear me? Let's see here. I cannot hear you. Hey, let's hang up really quick and hang up really quick and try to either connect to your Wi-Fi if you can. If you can't connect to your Wi-Fi, just turn it off and you may have a better reception with your phone signal. Let's see here.
Yeah, sorry about that, man.
No, you good. You good. There you go. We back
Yeah,
and we
I got
back
a
and
full,
we better.
you know how that goes, man.
You say you got a what?
I got a full house, so people eating up the Wi-Fi.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now I was gonna think, man, you had a flip phone over there for a second.
Oh, man.
I'm messing with you, man. But no, so I was asking you to take us back a little bit, man, to where leading up. Well, first off, you say you went to Michigan State, man. Was that a decision that you and your brother made together? Because
Yeah, Well, so I made it immediately. Like once they offered, I immediately took it. And, he was getting some interest from Michigan at the time where he kind of drug his feet a little bit because that was right when Rich Rodriguez came in and Pat White was the quarterback. So they were looking for another speed guy at quarterback. He was that. And so he was kind of, really trying to figure out exactly what he wanted to do. And Michigan State offered him to play corner. Mm-hmm. And so ultimately he ended up signing with Michigan State and being a dual sport athlete where he was on the track team and the football team. And so, but just the struggles that I ran into at Michigan State was really just understanding how to build structure. You know what I'm saying? Where you're on your own for the first time. I like that.
For sure. But man, again, man, the connection was very bad, man. You were going in and out every other word, man. I know you was sharing that story, man, about because of what's up. Because I know you're sharing a story about your Michigan State experience, man. So would you mind rerunning that for us?
I got you. No, just when I went to Michigan, I don't know where I cut off at, but just whenever I got to Michigan State, me and my brother both decided to go there. And then just, the trouble that I ran into, just really going and diving into things that I probably shouldn't have been diving into and just not having the structure that I needed. And then having friends come up that didn't have the same focus level that I had, and so, or understand the opportunity that was at stake. And I didn't, I was 1 foot out, 1 foot in, just partying every night, getting in fights, making headlines for the wrong reasons. And then, it was more of a mutual parting of ways with D'Antonio, and I still keep in contact with them and my position coach. And I actually got an opportunity to coach against my recruiting coach who was at Cincinnati, Dan Eno, shout out to him. And we just had a real conversation, man, 10 years later, 12 years later. And he understood and he was cool about it. And, that's my guy, until he's not. But it really was for the better because it kind of straightened me out,
You said it straightened you out. Was this that experience alone straighten you out, or was it, you going to the junior college and things of that nature, then getting a second shot, going back playing at a Division I level? What was your junior college experience like, man? Because that's something that we don't never really look forward to. I ain't gonna say we don't look forward to it, but it's not as cool going to a junior college compared to going to Division I, any Division II, Division III, and things of that nature.
Yeah, no, I mean it was a weird situation, man. I didn't really know anything about junior college, nor did I ever picture myself going to junior college.
Yeah, facts.
And so, getting kicked out of Michigan State was like the punch in the stomach, but I'd say JUCO was like the breath of fresh air of like, oh, okay, now, this is where I have to get focused and start living right and creating my own structure because I'm an adult now. You know what I mean? I'm by myself. I can't lean on my parents. I can't lean on my brother. I got to handle my business the way I'm supposed to handle it. And so JUCO, man, that was a weird story. So I was going to, obviously I looked to transfer D1 to D1. And I figured out you had to sit out a year.
Sit out.
All right. So I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. And then all my boys who ended up leaving, a lot of us left at the same time. And they're like, yeah, I'm just going to go JUCO. I'm going to reopen my recruitment. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. We're good. I just had to make sure. Sure. But they all wanted to reopen their recruitment. I'm like, man, that's not a bad idea. Now I understand what I can and cannot do. And so I was going to go to this school called Grand Rapids Community College. It's in Michigan. And they're pretty good. They were pretty good at the time. They had came off back-to-back undefeated seasons. Mm-hmm. And so I was getting ready to sign. I was all ready to sign. The next day I was going to sign. I get this phone call from a dude. I never talked to him before, and I never talked to him a day after, ever. His name was Jack Fairley. I looked him up because I didn't understand why he called me. But he was he just ran it to me of how the JUCO world is, Grand Rapids Community College is more like Boise State. He's like, they play, they're a good team, but they don't play anybody. He's like, you got your Texas JUCOs, you got your Cali JUCOs, and you got the Mississippi JUCOs and Kansas. He's like, if you go to Mississippi, that's like the SEC of JUCOs. He's like, everyone who goes there, any bounce back is going to bounce back D1. And so for whatever reason, man, and that's what I say is is a gift from God because the next day I started diving in on Mississippi and I held up signing out with Grand Rapids. And then, this Northwest Mississippi community college called me, Jack Wright, who's now the head coach at Mississippi Gulf Coast. He gave me a call and was like, look, we're going to fly you down. Get on the plane, come check us out. And I'm like, all right, whatever, bet, I'm going. And so I got down there, and you know, at the time, it was cold in Michigan, so it's like negative whatever. I get down to Mississippi, it's warm. I'm like, all right, this is already better. In my mind, I'm cool. I'm good with this. And so I ended up signing with them, and I ended up going down there the summer of 2010. And I remember my first 2 weeks, man, I was like, man, I'm leaving. I can't do this, bro. Because I couldn't. It was my first time in the true South, you know.
Yeah.
So I couldn't understand anybody. Like everyone was talking to me, and I'm like, you know, up north we don't talk like that. But in the South, that Southern hospitality is so real, man. And so I left, and I was just like, you know, I'm not gonna do this. This ain't for me. Like I can't. And my mom convinced me. She's like, look, you gotta go back because you're not staying here. You know what I'm saying?
Like you left like you wanted to stop playing football?
Yeah, well, I was just ready to be done with JUCO, like the South. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't understand anybody. Everyone was talking slow. It was the smallest town I had ever been in my life. You know, it was like I think there was like one street light and a Walmart. You know what I mean? And so it was just like a complete culture shock, you know, for me at the time. And but my mom convinced me to go back, and I'm glad she did, man, because you know I really had to dive in on it and just and get extremely focused, and that's what I did. So when I was getting recruited, I told my coach, you know, I want to stay in the South. So any Southern teams that knock on the door, like I'm all for it. I'm not really trying to go back up north. And it was, to me, it was just kind of like, you know, making choices where, like I said, surrounding myself with people who are like-minded, you know. And if I had known if I went home, I'd be back in the same spot where it's like I'm so close to home, people don't understand have the opportunity I have and see it the same way. And so it was definitely eye-opening for me.
So when you got the opportunity to go to Louisiana Tech, man, what was your mindset like then? You know, were you like, hey, look, I'm here now. This is like, did you consider it to be your last chance or last opportunity?
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, once I made it out of JUCO, I knew like, all right, well, this is great. This is going because I already knew the business now. I understood exactly what I was looking for in the school. I understood exactly what they could do for me and what I could do for them. And you know, mind you, I was at Michigan State with Javon Ringer, who was a 4th-round pick, played like 6 years in the NFL, and then back right after him was Le'Veon Bell. So they weren't throwing the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that was my main thing. Like wherever I go next, I'm going to one of those schools that at the time the spread was just coming into effect. So I'm like, look, I'm going to one of those schools. Wherever they're throwing that thing like 60 times, that's what I'm
there.
and that's what happened. That's what we were doing, man. We were throwing it all over the field, and I was blessed to be able to play with some really, really good people, bro. A really good team. And you know how it goes. Whenever you're on a good team, individual success follows. So it was good.
Hey, y'all, appreciate everybody for tapping in right now. We do have our guest, in fact, the Friday Live, the 9th episode, Myles White, here joining us tonight, y'all, sharing his true testimony and inspiring story, you guys. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Please hit the paper airplane down at the bottom right corner and share this out to everybody you know. Ask your questions below in the comment section, or even hit the question mark down below as well. Hey, Myles, I'm going to tap into these questions really quick. I have a question that was asked. What would you say is your biggest accomplishment thus far?
Off the field, man, just my kids. I got 3 beautiful children, man. They're an accomplishment every day. Just I'm very proud of them and the growth that they make on a day-to-day basis. But on the field, just making it, man. Like I think that's like you said earlier, it's 1% of the 1% who get to play in the NFL, man. And so, and I worked hard to get there, you know. And I hate when people downplay it and think that everybody should play in it, because it's not, man. It is definitely a best of the best league, and it was some of the highlight of my life, and as far as football career goes, you know. And so,
you play in the CFL as well, correct?
Yeah.
How would you compare that, you know, to the NFL, man? I'm pretty sure you played with cats that played in the NFL out there in the CFL and things of that nature there, man.
Yeah.
But what's that experience been like for you?
It was cool. It was cool, man. For me, the CFL is probably a little different from other people's experiences. I came in there in the back end of my career, and I was kind of ready to go. So I was ready. That was just kind of like my transition. I'm like, all right, well, this is it. You know what I mean? Let me just go ahead and go out how I want to go out. Play a couple more games, and then I'm out. But I mean, if it was something that I had started at 22, I think Canada's an amazing place. I don't know if people go up there enough, but
I haven't been there yet, man, but I
man,
look forward
if
to
you
it.
gotta go, like it is the deal. You know what I'm saying? But it's so that the living situation was good. It's just a different game, and I just at the time my heart wasn't in it the same way.
Right. Now, I think they get to approach the line running and things like that, right, in the CFL?
Yeah. It's a bunch of different rules. You can move around, and it's pretty cool. And that it's the hard part is, you spend your whole life accounting for 11 people, but then you get to Canada and there's one more person, and so I couldn't account for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, down south or in America, you pretty much by the time after like you're a junior in college, you can figure out where everyone's on the field is at. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, they're in cover 3, bet there should be somebody there, and here. Like, who I gotta beat. But it's just not like that in Canada. Like, it's like you gotta account for that next person.
Extra man make a difference.
Oh yeah, big difference.
For sure, man. Hey, so man, you have a similar story, like mine, man, with just the experience of, being dismissed from school, man, and I could tell that you've learned, from that experience and from that lesson, just as well as much as I did too, man. For anybody out there whoever, facing adversity, facing struggle, man, or some distractions and things of that nature, I would say that's okay because that's a part of life, and I think how we approach the things that come after that, is what I think plays a role into the success that we have after that, or how things play out after that, man. Could you speak on that, Myles, for me?
Yeah, man. I think I always say this to my kids. I say it to my fiance whenever they go through a hard time. Like, it builds character. Like, I'm glad you went through it. I'm glad you went through the tough time, because now you be on the other side of that person or that mistake is a really, really good person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you put your mind to it. And so I have this what I call core values for success, and this is what I preach to the kids at SMU and wherever else I'm going to go and coach.
Can you preach them to us, man? Can you share them with us?
So at the foundation of everybody who's successful, it doesn't matter who you are, whether it's a athlete, businessman, CEO, whoever. At the foundation is work ethic. You have to have an unbelievable, undeniable work ethic. That's the next sentence that follows somebody who's successful.
Take notes now, y'all. Take notes.
Right. I'm preaching. I'm going into preach real quick. The second thing that you have to be successful is an extreme amount of focus, right? Because you got to be able to have the attention to detail, the discipline to decide, like, hey, I shouldn't go out tonight because I got to worry about this 2 days from now. You got to start thinking ahead, and that requires focus. The third thing that you have to have is mental toughness, because as we all know, we're all going to fail at some point in time, right? And then, so are you able to withstand that failure and then build success on top of that, which, that is the key to life, right? And then, how well can you work with the things that are working for you while trying to fix the things that aren't working for you, and that's all mental toughness. And then the last thing, which is the most important thing, is execution, right? Because if you can't get the job done, it doesn't matter if you do the first 3 stages the right way. It don't matter. You still got to get the job done, and that's how you get paid the big bucks to do that. People who get the job done at a high, consistent level are the ones who get paid the highest. And
Hey,
so
Myles, go ahead.
those are just things that I was able to kind of cultivate and understand throughout my process of just how this football thing works out, man.
No, those are major, man, and I would suggest, that you continue to push that message out there to everybody
Oh
that
yeah,
you
for
impact,
sure.
everybody that you come across, coaching and things of that nature, man, because those are some key value points, man. Not only to life or on the gridiron, but even off the gridiron. You know what I'm saying? Just life lessons and life lessons to live by. That's going to take you further places, man. Hey, Myles, talk to me about your experience transitioning after your college career, man, into the NFL and things of that nature, man. Were you anticipating or believing that you would get your name called on draft night, or what was that process like for you?
I did. I thought I was, man. And it was a stressful time because everybody wants to get their name called. And for me, I thought it was going to happen. I got a call from the Giants in the 5th round. They said they were going to take me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was embarrassed because I told my family, I got off the phone, like, hey, yeah, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they end up picking a linebacker. And then after that, I knew it was a long shot to get drafted, just because of the history that I had throughout the years, you know what I mean? And then just where I was at production-wise. And so I kind of knew it was a long shot, but I did think it was going to happen. I had the call that I thought I had or was going to have, and it just didn't work out. But, I mean, it's a different deal, man. So either way, you get an opportunity. So directly at the draft, I got a call from like five teams, 5 or 6 teams, and it was all of them seemed interested, you know what I mean? But Green Bay was the one that stuck out the most, just from the draft process leading up to the actual draft, and then the signing period. They were just pretty straightforward of exactly what they wanted from me, and then they didn't play any games. Like a lot of teams were trying to play me against my best friend Quentin Patton, who I played with, and he got drafted in the 4th round. And some teams would call and they'd be like, "Yeah, you're better than him, and you should."
Yeah.
And I'm like, that ain't
man.
where I want to take it. You know what I mean? And so I immediately was Xing them out because I'm like, that's sales pitch. That's just somebody trying to get you along. But whereas Green Bay, they were like, "Look, we got a plan for you. We really like you, and we got to steal. We really did think you should have got drafted, but we got to steal for you." And it came down to them and the Giants, the team that said they were gonna draft me. And so it's when that was already, I'm gonna automatically hold that against them for doing that, And so it just ended up working out with Green Bay.
Man, well, with you going to Green Bay, man, have you ever taken a leap on Lambeau Wall?
Yeah, a few times, man. I actually got hung on there one time, man.
Man, how tall is it, man? People out there getting hung.
So it's like it kind of works like a U. It dips. So like in the corner of the end zone, it's gonna be a little higher, but like behind the goalpost, it's gonna be a little lower. So if you jump over there, it's gonna be easy. But if you score in the corner, you gotta really, really jump.
Yeah.
And so, but it was good, man. That's a great place to play.
Oh man, and then you also eventually got the opportunity to play with the Giants as well, right?
Yeah. So I did get to double back with the Giants, and that was cool. Got to play with some great players, and it was it's a complete different fit. Matter of fact, 100% different from Green Bay to New York. You know what I'm saying? New York's more like Mississippi, Ruston, Louisiana, whereas obviously New York is New York, and it's a different type of crowd, different type of fan.
Hey, let me ask you, what has motivated you the most about being a pro athlete?
Just trying to be the best, man. Trying to be the best that I can be, and having that competitive spirit. It's almost like a drug feeling walking into a practice or a game or whatever, and nobody can cover you. You know what I'm saying? And you just completely have your way within the game. And so that's something that you always chase, just to be a dominant force in the game, or at least I did. I chased that all the time. Like I wanted to take over games, and that always made it fun. And just the competition period, man, to be a part of something, a collective, effort to try to win and beat people. And when that's why everyone remembers the great teams around. When you're on a good team, it's unforgettable because not only did we dominate, but or not only did I dominate, but we all dominated at some point in time, And so it's fun.
Facts. Hey, now with you being a coach now at Southern Methodist, man, how did that door open up for you, man? Was that something that you always look forward to, man, after your playing career, wanting to become a coach?
Well, I knew I wanted to be involved in football somehow or some way. And so when I first got done, I wanted to try something different because I was like, look, man, I didn't put in years in football.
Yeah.
I just want to see if I'm good at something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I got into sales, and I was good at it, man. Like I go in there and I loved it because it was such a different game, but I had sprung to it because it was so new. And I would go in there, man, and I'd go in to quit, and every time I'd quit, they'd give me a promotion. You know what I mean? They're like, no, keep coming, come back. So I worked my way up from like a low level salesperson to I was a hiring manager.
Wow.
at this place called Dallas City Access, and it was fun, man. So it was cool, but what I realized is, you know, in football, just as a player, I had never used an alarm clock to wake up. I'd always be up. Like I was like every day, I was just ready to get back to it. I was so focused and so engaged in the game and wanting to be there. I'll wake up like an hour before and I'd be ready to go without an alarm clock. And when I was in sales, it was like I'm hitting snooze. And I'm just dragging to work. Like I'm like drinking coffee. And that wasn't
Yeah.
me. I just kind of knew like this ain't. I like it, but this ain't what I could do for the rest of my life, you know. And so I went to Sonny Dykes was my college coach at Louisiana Tech. He just got the job at SMU, and they just completed their first year. And I had just so happened to buy a house in Frisco and move here, and so they're right down the street. So I went and saw them, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna ask him if I could just come to practice, you know. And
Yeah.
he's like, all right, well, come to a couple and see if you like it, and if you want to get in it, we'll see. So I went to every practice, like back to back to back. Like not even, I just went because I was like, man, I'm not even knowing that I really wanted to coach, but just wanted to be around it. I'm like, I'm going. And then sure enough, at the end of the spring practices, he's like, look, you want to coach? You want to do this? And I'm like, yeah. So he gave me my first shot, man. And so I volunteered my first year. So I didn't get paid. I didn't do nothing. I just straight up was coming and just focusing to it. And then, you know, they put me on pay as a quality control coach this year or this past year. And it's just been fun, man. And I'll say for me, it has been, I like coaching 10 times more than I like playing. And it's a weird thing, but it's just 1,000 times more fulfilling, bro, to see somebody else have success off of advice that you gave them.
Yeah.
You know, that to me is just, I can't replace that. And then, you know, on the flip side of it, just a lot of the things that I have in my life came from a ball. You know what I mean? And I don't like to say that. It doesn't sound great to say that, but it's the truth. You know, God blessed me with the ball, and a lot of things grew from that ball. And so, you know, just to be able to give that opportunity to some younger people in similar situations where they have an opportunity to grow their life from this ball or whatever, you know, to have a foundation from it. And so it's a good thing.
Man, with you being a recent former player, man, with you being a recent former player, you know, could you see, you know, any of yourself, any of the kids that you coach now? You know what I'm
All the
saying? You know,
time, all the time, all the
yeah,
time, man. And like that's the cool thing is like, you know, not only have I, you know, been blessed to play the game at the highest level, I've also been blessed and even probably more fortunate to see it from a failure side of things by getting kicked out, going to JUCO, building my way up to mid-major. You know, I've just seen and being an undrafted guy, being a practice squad guy, going to active roster, being sprung into a starting role. You know, like I've seen the game from every perspective as a player that you can see it from. I've been a key guy. I've been a bench warmer. I've been a practice squad guy. I've been a reserve, the next guy in. And so I can for the kids, I can say, look, I've been where you're at. I know how to navigate through it. This is how you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what works for me.
yeah, man, I'm pretty sure them kids listening to you, man, and taking everything in that you tell them. Again, with them, I'm not sure if a lot of them know your story. You know what I'm saying? You know, they may have tapped in tonight and learned tonight. But you know, for those who may not know your story, man, and for you to be that voice, you know what I'm saying, to deter them from a path that you know once have walked. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I think that's key right there, man. Going through the experiences that you have, and then being able to use your story and your message again to deter those kids from going down that path, man. Because there's a whole lot more success, and things could be a lot different, you know, if you don't, you know, have those bumps in the roads and those obstacles. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So, man, continue to do what you're doing there, man. I look forward to a season, you know, this year, man, seeing you out there on the sideline, getting those guys right. You know, what do you do as a quality control offensive analyst?
So it's more, it's just learning the game. It's kind of like coaching waiting. You feel what I'm saying? It's more like, but it's the same thing you're doing, the coaching stuff. You're just not I'm the assistant receiver coach, but I'm not the receiver coach. So I'm still working with the guys. I'm still doing everything I'm supposed to do as a receiver coach would do. It's just without that title. It's just a different title away. It's a way to get more coaches, you know, involved in the program, you know, but it's cool. So I like it. It's just giving me the opportunity to learn. and learn from different guys and different styles and techniques, you know.
You ever getting called out by any of your DBs or your receivers out there at
Yeah,
SMU?
they try to talk a little junk, man. That's natural though. That's natural. But I'm like, I keep trying to tell them, man, you ain't got paid for this yet. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to pump the brakes, you know.
Right. Facts, man. Now you could probably get out there and lace them up, man, and do them, man, a few times.
Yeah. I mean, I always got. That's what I tell them. I got one good day still in me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like if I really want to go out there and do it, but it's fun, man. Those dudes are funny, and it's just cool to see them and the energy they got, you know what I mean? And that you knew, like, dang, that used to be me back in the day. You know, I used to be running my mouth like that to some older dude who
yeah.
played in the league, you know. But you're supposed to have that type of attitude, you know?
Man, growing up, man, with a twin brother, man, how was that? You know, were y'all, working out together a lot and things of that nature, man, to make each other better? Were y'all talking a lot of trash and competing against each other? Were y'all, fighting over who's the better, receiver or quarterback or cornerback and running back?
Yeah, all the time, man. Like, my biggest wars in football is with him, with nobody in the stands. You know what I mean? Like, we were just,
Hmm.
and we were, because he played DB. So
Yeah,
we would always just get work and we go one-on-ones for hours, bro. Hours, just
yeah,
grinding, getting better. And it actually helped, you know, and that's something that I wish that, you know, most everybody had, you know, especially my kids. I'm like, man, I don't know how they're gonna practice how we practice because we were grinding.
yeah.
And so, you know, just having that person to work out with on a consistent basis who was never going to turn down the opportunity to go on one-on-ones. You know,
Hmm.
you ask some of your teammates or your boys, like, hey, yo, let's go get some one-on-one work. And they're like, nah, I'm tired. Like, I ain't going to go. Whereas my brother, I'm like, let's get
He
some
down.
one-on-ones. He's like, yeah, what's up? Like, I'm with it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we go get a quarterback and we're playing all day for 4 hours, 3 hours. Right? And it was cool, man.
No, that's love, man. And again, to see both of y'all, had opportunity to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Man, what were those conversations like, man? I'm pretty sure y'all were having, flashbacks and moments of, thinking about, again, y'all not there and if that opportunity would present itself, but then y'all living in that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
was that, man? How did that make the family feel?
It was, I mean, obviously, I think it made them proud. I'd like to think it made them proud, you know, because ultimately that's who I played for is my family. We come from a very football oriented family. And so a lot of my cousins who, like I always say, and I made it the furthest in the family,
Hmm.
but I think I'm like the third, fourth best in total of like
Yeah,
my cousins and everybody. Because some of them didn't make it. Like my younger brother was the best one out of all of us. He just didn't make it and didn't, you know, couldn't get focused enough to make it. But, you know, just being able to get there and represent my family and be able to do that, that was a blessing. I hope I made them proud. But like you said, when you're in the moment, you don't even think about it, you know. And so we would talk about it, and I was extremely happy for him, and he was happy for me. But it's just so much focus that you can't even really
yeah.
digest what's going on, you know.
I believe it. Facts. Man, you went and played in Toronto, right, man? Was that the team that you won the championship with?
No, so that was my twin brother won the championship in Toronto, and so
Okay.
yeah, he won it in Toronto, and then the next year I came in, and he ended up going to Montreal, and then yeah, that was both of our last years actually.
Did you play with my boy
It was good,
Rodney
baby. It was good.
TK in there? Yeah, what's going on, man? Did you play with my boy Rodney Smith
Yeah,
there in Toronto?
yeah. Rodney's a good dude, man. I like Rodney. That's my guy.
Man, shout out to Rodney, man. He was the first guest on the first season of If Factor Friday Live, man. So shout
Okay,
out to him.
okay.
Facts, man. That went well, man. Hey, Myles, man, this is If Factor Friday Live, man, and everyone that has tapped in, I greatly appreciate y'all for joining us tonight. Myles, this will not be If Factor Friday Live if I did not ask you this one question. Myles, with everybody tapping in tonight and learning your true testimony, man, hearing about your journey and everything that you've been through to live out your dream of becoming a pro NFL athlete, man, we want to know now, what's your If Factor?
I think my it factor, man, is just, you know, keep being a good person and keep doing for others, bro. That's it. I think that's the key to life. I think when you take the focus off yourself and put it on other people, you just get blessed, bro. In some form, God's gonna bless you, and God's gonna take care of you in some form or fashion. And so, as long as you just keep helping people and doing the right thing, and living right. You know what I mean? There's no stopping. And then just like I said, man, just keeping those core values of success, and whatever you stick your mind to and put your mind on, just focus. You know, put your work ethic in, focus, be mentally tough, and execute when your time is up.
Facts, facts. Hey man, y'all heard the man Myles White right there out of his mouth, man. I hope you take heed to what he's talked about and what he has instilled in us with tonight. Myles, your story has been very inspiring, man, very motivating, and I greatly appreciate you tapping in with us tonight, Myles. I got one last question, man. If there's anybody else that you can help us get on Impact the Friday Live, man, going forward, in a future episode, man, is there anyone that you would have in mind or that you could suggest to us?
Yeah, man. Put my dog QP on there, Quentin Patton.
Quinn Patton.
Yeah. He's got a good story, man.
Okay, for sure, man. We coming
Yeah.
out there. We looking for you, Quinn Patton, man. We look forward to having you on In Fact the Friday Live one day, man, and so you can share your testimony and drop your if on us, man. Miles, is there anything else you want to say, man, to end off the show?
No, well, hey, first I just want to say I appreciate it, man, and it's an honor to be on the show. And any way I can help, don't hesitate to reach out, man, and tap in with me.
Nah, most definitely, man. I definitely would do that, man. Again, we're gonna chop it up, man, about your experience with your agents and things of that nature, there, man, off the live, man, and just help me grow my knowledge around and experiences around being an agent and things of that nature, man.
Mm-hmm.
Again, man, appreciate you, man. I'm gonna let you get back to your family, man, and enjoy your weekend. Stay safe, man. Stay blessed.
All right, man. You too.
For sure.